Right, so we're going to do an if and else command. I'm going to go through how if works. If allows you to ask questions like, if they've typed this in, do something. Otherwise, do something else. So I'm leaving in the high input from before. So I'm then going to do an if. So let's say if they're over 1.8 meters. So if height is greater than 1.8, that will not include 1.8 because I'm saying greater than. And then you do a colon. Now, this is the only bit that gets tricky in these videos. Now we've got to do some actual trickiness because they've been quite simple to now. I'm going to print tall enough. Let's assume it's some weird ride. Okay. And then I'm going to go else, which means basically otherwise, print not tall enough. Okay. So I'm going to run that and I'll explain more in a second. I'm going to enter 2. There we go. I'm going to enter 1.8, which was not tall enough, remember, because 1.8 is not greater than 1.8. And we've got not tall enough. Right, so let's explain an if statement. You've got a condition. This is a test. Okay? With an if, after an if like this, you always have a colon. Now, Python's a little strange, but there we go. So what happens is, this, for example, will not work. After a colon, you must press the tab key. It will do it automatically if you use a good interface like the default one, and it will tab in. But what I'm trying to say is, if you suddenly do this, this will not work and it will ruin the code because it is not expecting anything to be here. Well, this would work like this. And what will happen here is if I type a number more than 1.8, it will print both things out. If I don't, it will just print broken. And the reason is because this is not part of this if. Once the code gets back to the left-hand side, it is no longer, so this is part of the if, this is part of the if, this is not part of the if. You cannot, though, just suddenly do this again and it be part of the if. Once you go back to the left here, the if is gone, okay? And you can't just tab in and expect it to do that, and then that, only if that happened. You would need to redo another if you wanted that situation. So the else, you don't have to have an else, by the way. You can just do like that. And then if I enter 1, nothing will happen. But what else does, it just says if this didn't happen. A lot of kids put like else height less than 1.8. You don't need to. Else just means, you can't in fact, doesn't let you do that, not with else. But else just means this didn't trigger. Okay, and then once again with the else, it's tabbed in because after a colon, everything after a colon is in tabs. Yeah, not tall enough. And then if you wanted more things, come back another time. Let's assume it's some sort of ride. They weren't allowed on. But as soon as we go, as soon as we're here, this if is completely finished now, and we're just back to normal code. So this will just print, just print 1.5, and there you go. Okay. If I want to do greater than or equal to, you do that, and that's now 1.8 or more. Less than is obviously less than equal to, or less than is that. So that is the ones. You can look those up online, they're quite clear. Let's do a name, or do a, let's do subject. No, not subject, let's do letter. Enter the fourth letter of the alphabet. And then we'll delete that. So let's just make that a bit bigger. Enter the fourth letter of the alphabet. And this one we're going to check if something is equal to something, because it's a little bit different. And I'm doing a string just for, so if the letter is equal, two equals with checks, okay? Not just equal to, double check with equals in Python. Some languages that's not the case, but Python you have to use two equals when you're doing an if statement. So A, B, C, D, okay? And so I'm going to say print correct. Otherwise, I'm going to print not correct. There you go. So that will get an input in. If they put a D, it'll print correct. Otherwise, it won't print correct, basically. There you go. Simple as that.